Welcome back to The Explainer. For all you focused learners out there who love breaking down a complex debate, you are absolutely in for a ride today. We're diving deep into a place that literally everyone seems to have an opinion on, but very few actually understand. We're heading to the United Arab Emirates to figure out the true identity of Dubai. Is it just this shiny, superficial playground in the middle of the desert, or is there a rich, cosmopolitan canvas hiding right beneath all that glitz? Let's get into it. To kick things off, let's just ask a pretty big question. What actually gives a city its soul? Do we absolutely need cobblestone streets and centuries of slow-burning history to validate a place's culture? Or can a modern marvel, built at breakneck speed, somehow develop deep cultural roots in a totally different way? To find that middle ground, we really need to look at both extremes first. So, Section 1, a city without a soul. Let's look at the absolute harshest critiques out there. Take a look at this quote. Dubai is a parody of the 21st century. Ouch. But this perfectly captures that extreme negative view. A lot of critics out there don't even see Dubai as a functioning community. They see it as a hyper-capitalistic playground. A place completely defined by Lamborghinis, seven-star hotels, and superficial wealth, basically lacking any foundational ethos beyond pure, unfiltered consumerism. Now, to really get why people think this, you have to look at Dubai's staggering timeline. Back in the 1960s, Dubai was just a modest pearl diving and trading port. Then the 1970s hit, bringing the oil boom, and wealth just exploded. Fast forward to today, and boom, it is a hyper-modern, globalized metropolis. This entire physical and demographic transformation happened in mere decades, not centuries, decades. And that incredibly compressed timeline, well, it left practically zero room for the slow, organic community building we expect when we visit, say, London or Tokyo. There's actually a term academics use for this. It's called space-time compression, a theory by David Harvey. Because Dubai was developed essentially as a blank slate, it prioritized massive, rapid economic ambition way above traditional social rhythms. The sheer speed of its growth literally collapsed the time a city normally needs to naturally figure out its own identity. Which brings us right into the sociology of it all. Section 2, the expatriate bubble. Why exactly does a city filled with millions of people often feel so isolating? It basically boils down to one absolutely staggering number: 80%. Roughly 80% of the UAE's population are expats. Think about that for a second. That is a massive departure from the global norm. When the vast majority of your population comes from somewhere else, it completely changes how a community is built. And maybe more importantly, it changes how long that community expects to actually stay together. So all those arguments about the city being soulless, they almost all stem from that 80% figure. Employment visas create a highly transient population. Some researchers highlight this gold digger mentality, where people just fly in to maximize their earnings for a couple of years and then bail. And that makes it incredibly tough to build a high-trust society with shared ethical values. I mean, if your neighbor might pack up and move back to Europe or Asia in 6 months, it's pretty hard to invest in deep social bonds, right? You also get this Disneyfication effect where malls replace traditional public squares. It's all about our expectations. We really tend to judge Dubai using these Western-centric definitions of culture. Slow, organic growth over centuries with a deeply rooted native population. But Dubai's reality is completely different. It's a rapid, space-time compressed melting pot of over 200 different nationalities. So, expecting it to function exactly like some 10th century European capital when its social fabric was practically spun overnight in the desert, that's definitely missing the bigger picture. Still, the academic critique is definitely strong. Scholars often point to Guy Debord's theory of the society of the spectacle when looking at Dubai. The argument here is that culture is literally commodified for tourism. Those traditional public gathering spaces where a community would naturally mix, they're frequently swapped out for highly curated, intensely air-conditioned megamalls, which subtly prioritizes consumers over actual citizens. But wait, is that the whole story? Absolutely not. Section 3, uncovering the hidden culture. Now we're going to pivot and look at the vibrant, fiercely defended realities living right underneath those skyscrapers. Check out this passionate counterargument from our sources from someone who actually lives there. Anyone who thinks Dubai is soulless is ignorant. Wow. Locals and long-term residents argue that the loudest critics are usually just tourists who never bother to step outside their luxury resorts or the downtown bubble. They totally miss the deeply connected, multifaceted society that is very much alive out there. Seriously, just take a walk through Old Dubai, places like Dera, Bur Dubai, and the historic Al Fahidi district, and a totally different picture emerges. Down there, you see the very intentional preservation of traditional architecture. Wind towers, shaded public spaces, communal heritage. It is a bustling, highly walkable hub of history and trade that was thriving way before the megamalls ever existed. And you want to know what really glues those 200 nationalities together? Food. Diverse culinary traditions are the lifeblood of these micro-communities. You've got the rich, spiced local Emirati makbuz, traditionally eaten communally. Then there's the complex, slow-cooked Indian biryani, giving expats a much-needed taste of home. Or the Filipino kamayan, the boodle fight, where massive groups bond over shared seafood laid out on banana leaves. And don't forget the historic Jordanian mansef, carrying ancient Levantine heritage. In Dubai, sharing these traditions across cultures literally is the soul of the city. It's a society bound together by a shared love of rice, spices, and incredible hospitality. So understanding Dubai really comes down to knowing what you're actually looking for. One of our sources uses this brilliant analogy. Going to Dubai looking for an ancient, homogeneous culture is literally like going to Walmart to buy a sports car. You are completely missing the point of what the city is, and honestly, what it's trying to be. We can actually reframe this whole hypermodernity thing. Instead of just dismissing the glitzy skyscrapers as superficial, think about this perspective from the source material. What's more human than choosing to create against all odds something beautiful that people fly from all over the world to see? That's a game changer. The city itself is a profound artistic human achievement. It's a vibrant canvas boldly painted right onto a harsh desert landscape. Okay, so how do we reconcile those harsh academic critiques with this beautiful, lived reality? Section 4, the true mirror. Let's bring this all together and find that middle ground. Ultimately, we are really looking at two Dubais here. The spectacle, with all its superficial luxury, transient bubbles, and hyper-capitalism, absolutely exists, no denying that. But so does the community, which is overflowing with shared values, stunning cultural mosaics, and profound safety. The reality is that Dubai is an incredibly subjective urban environment. It basically offers whatever experience you are actively seeking out. The ongoing challenge right now, especially for urban planners, is harmonizing those two sides. They have to constantly balance this necessary commercial vitality and massive economic expansion with the preservation of authentic cultural identity. It's all about making sure that the spaces built for the spectacle still leave plenty of room for genuine human connection. And that leads us to what is easily the most powerful metaphor from all of our source material today. It perfectly balances these two extremes. Dubai is a true mirror. If you find it soulless, you are a soulless person. Wow. Because it's a city of 200 nationalities with no single dominant cultural template, it just reflects the exact energy, curiosity, and soul that you bring to it. If you only look for superficial luxury, yeah, that's exactly what you'll find. But if you look for community, you will be totally embraced by it. And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. I want to leave you with one final thought. The next time you look at a modern, fast-paced metropolis, will you look past the spectacle to find the soul? Understanding a place like Dubai requires us to completely update our definition of what a city can be. It challenges us to see beauty in the new and deep community in the transient. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next explainer.